All right. Listen to that 303. Sneak in and squiggle around a little bit. I've been using this track for years now for the intro, and I still haven't gotten tired of it. But I probably should mix it up a little bit more, right? Anyway, who was first today? Stereo Decor. Marco Freudenberg is here. Funk Thor. Dan Kalinowski. Camel, aka the Camel P, aka the Influence. Luminous Cloud, ayo. Kenny Tone is here. Gentleman Corpse. Gentleman Corpse Techno. The Ruffles, hey. And yes, Jean-Paul Bondi, welcome. It is Electro today. The intro music should always clue you in, as long as I didn't forget to change it. All right, let's get on with it. Welcome, everybody. It's me. I'm here at 343 Labs Music Production School in New York City. As you know, we also have a location in Berlin. And we teach online courses. It's what we do. I did another Ableton user group over last Wednesday. And we have lots of events here in person, open to the public almost every week. And of course, you all know, you're here in the chat, you know that I do this. Well, I have to say, it used to be every Saturday, and, you know, honestly, I just, you know, that every week kind of momentum definitely broke up a little bit. It's been a little more sporadic, but hey, you know, I'm still doing it. I still love it. It's still a highlight of my week to hang out here and make beats and make techno and make electro and occasionally have guests on and hang out with you guys and just see how it goes. Sometimes we're trying out new plugins. Sometimes I'm just, I don't know, winging it. Sometimes we have specific goals in mind, right? Whatever it feels like. So thanks again to all of you for going along for the ride as we start a new year, 2026, and on this crazy planet that we all live on, where all sorts of insane things are happening, and we're just, you know, one day at a time, right? Hold it together, be good to yourself and others, and make music. So that's what we're doing here. And yeah, it's Electro Day. One last little plug for 343 Labs, as ever. Would you like to know more about what I and we do here? I'm an instructor here, and I help oversee the program. And we have our 1-year program, and we have our a la carte kind of one-off courses you can take, and private lessons, and all of that. So whether you're here in New York or you're in Berlin or somewhere in the world, and you want to take an online class, we're here for you. Check out what we do. Click on one of those links below and find out more. All right. Advertisement over. What's up, everybody? Who else has jumped into the chat while I've been blabbing here? We got Darkatech. Hey, what's up? Francisco. Hey, nice to have you. Skirmantis is back. And Mr. Alolo. Mr. Alolo. People in their online tags, man. Usernames. It's a thing. How clever can you get? And will people even get your reference if it is one? Or is it just total nonsense? Mine, I just use my name most of the time. So, right. Hey, Data Rebel. Hey, everybody. See, now I'm just wasting time. No, seriously, what are we doing today? Electro. I decided to do slightly different tact today. A lot of times when I've been on the show, I'm like starting a track, sketching, coming up with ideas in front of you. And then occasionally like kind of go along and work on it over time and then arrange it and, you know, mix. Actually, there hasn't been a lot of mixing and polishing on the show lately. It's been a lot of starting and continuing, but not finishing. So that's got to happen this year. But yeah, I had an idea the other day, just fooling around at home, and I had some, you know, rare free time. And just started, without thinking too hard about it, making an electro track with the idea of starting with very simple sounds simple subtractive synth sounds. I even was just using Live's analog instrument, So no crazy like wavetable, FM madness, physical modeling, insane sound design techniques, really just simple synthesis, but then making it sound more unique and energetic or futuristic or alive or whatever, just using audio effects, right? And that's something like in the synthesis and sound design class we have here at the school. It's advanced beginner intermediate kind of level course, right? Where you're already making music and you're using presets and samples, but maybe you want to know how the plugins work, right? So it's like basic subtractive synthesis and then building from there into wavetable and more complex processes. But generally it's kind of new to synthesis focused. And one of the things I like to teach people is start with simple sounds that you know how they work and make them move, and then you can polish them up with effects and have fun exploring and kind of experimenting. So yeah, that's what I did. And then it turned into something. It turned into something kind of, I like it. And it kind of went, it just took on a life of its own. So yeah, that's what we're going to listen to and play around with and see what we can do with. And yeah, we're just going to hang out. Before that though, I wanted to share this post that Stingray, I think like a week ago, posted this on Threads. Make electro sound design futuristic again. Definitely agree with that sentiment. So I just wanted to share that. It's definitely in the realm of what we like here, and I was just curious to see that and read the comments. Make electro undersea again. Well, I mean Drexciya, right? Is it Drexciya or Drexciya? What do you say? Adam X here in New York used to say Drexciya, and he knew those guys. So I wonder if that's right, or is it Drexciya? Someone correct me. Of course, the obligatory make electro great again. A mega hat. Would you wear a red mega hat? Listen to Reptint. Yeah, I agree. Reptint sounds sick. All right. Make Stingray make house music. All right, no, that's a troll. Oh, and this one's a sad one. The future that Cybertron dreamed of never came. Aw. But yeah, that kind of, for me, like electro is a balance of this kind of nostalgia for the future that we dreamed about when we were younger and then didn't happen. And it's like sad, right? But there's still this little glimmer of hope, right? And then, the world's pretty crazy right now. It's hard to think about like a future being super amazing and technology and futurism and space travel and, making the world a better place through technology. All of those dreams that happened, from say like the 50s through to the 90s when things started getting kind of dystopic with the internet and the Silicon Valley bubble, and then up to today with social media and all the problems around that. Yeah, things kind of took a turn. So yeah, that just made me think, right? Like being a kid and watching Star Trek or something, or Battlestar Galactica in the 70s and early 80s, right? Like, it's a little different now, right? And then we got like Cyberpunk and William Gibson, and I'm really kind of psyched that they're trying to do Neuromancer as a series now. But I wonder how relevant is going to be now, because a lot of the stuff that William Gibson kind of prophesied, like in a way, like saw ahead what was going to happen with like AI and it's virtual reality and all of that, like it's all old news now. It's not a new, like, fresh idea anymore. So how are they going to twist Neuromancer to be more relevant in 2026? Like, I'm curious. What do you guys think? Anyway, all of that stuff is like fodder for inspiration for making electro music, because I feel like a lot of, obviously, the themes of this music, lyrics or no, the sounds and the feel, it's always so futuristic. And whether it be dark and dystopian futuristic or like, upbeat and funk and kind of positive, right? Or whatever. I like thinking about those things when I make this music. What else we got going on in here with these couple more? I didn't read all these comments yet, so too much technology. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's another thing. Actually, electro. This was another thing that made me think about is like, what's futuristic sound now? Right? It used to be like Kraftwerk, right? And it used to be Cybertron. And then techno's futuristic too. Obviously, it's all part of the same world for me, just rhythmically, stylistically different sides of the same musical coin. Yeah, make electro future retro 70s again. That's what I mean. Like you hear the whole classic stuff and you're like, yeah, that feels it's like nostalgia and futurism at the same time. I love that. But then and then yeah, AI, like you'd think music that's supposed to be futuristic, you'd want to embrace the most modern, the most current, the most forward-looking tools, and AI kind of is that for all the problems that it has with music and ownership and creativity. There's some amazing tools that we have access to make sounds that are like new and or crazy or whatever. So, and then I like this idea of like making it's like electro, but it's also organic and kind of weird and alien. Like having that kind of vibe in electro is amazing for me too, where it's like it's not just the same old Kraftwerk Doppler effect analog sounds, right? Or it's got some subtlety or movement to it that is a little bit different, or maybe like it has an acoustic organic element, but it still has that kind of futuristic dark funk kind of vibe, right? That's what I like too, right? This kind of blending of genres that can happen, but it's still kind of what makes it electro. So yeah, all of these, I'm feeling like talking today, right? I'm just all of these things going around in my head as we get started. Um, let's see. Let's go back over to this. I'm just going to check the chat real quick before I get the music going and see what y'all are talking about. Okay, Jean-Paul Bondi. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's, fair point, Jean-Paul. Sorry, but I saw that post and dislike it for two reasons. One, dumb reference to Trump. Yeah, agreed. It's kind of played now. Like let's let that go, all right? Two, there's plenty of futuristic design in electro. Not sure what Stingray is listening to. Okay. I think you're absolutely also right. I agree. So I feel like he's referring to all of the electro that just sounds the same over and over again. I don't think he believes that all the other electro out there is all the same and not futuristic. But you got to admit, there's a bunch of tracks out there, and that goes for all genres. And I'm also not saying that's bad because the music can be amazing. Like you can honor Kraftwerk, you can honor Doppler effect, you can honor Detroit, and learn from that and make your own version of it and do it well, and it's awesome. But also, there's a lot of tracks that just it's the same thing again, right? But then on the flip side of that, I'm okay with that because that's what genres are. It's like repeating ideas, and it's a musical language that people understand, right? So like how many hundreds of thousands of blues songs are there with the same chord progression and the same scale? Some of it's whatever. Some of it's amazing. It kind of comes down to the human element, right? And the creative use of that genre and those limitations. So yeah, I get you. I understand what you're saying too. I see both sides of this. What else we got here? Doug Smith. Hey, Doug. Doug Smith says, electro is an odd place where retrofuturism and genuine futurism collide. Yeah, sure. I was just thinking the same kind of similar thing, like the old school electro that's kind of nostalgic, and it's like what we used to imagine the future sounding like in a way. And then now it's, and then we have, it's such a broader scape now. And, to connect to what Jean Paul is saying, yes, there's a lot of really crazy futuristic electro out there. Okay, Scremantis is getting weird. What if we make it like Schlager? Do y'all know, anyone who's not familiar with German popular music and folk music might not know what Schlager is, but man, you're not being serious. What does Marco say? I think techno and electro is on a point like rock music. Yeah, right. No, it's like it's been around for long enough, and it's been done over and over again enough, and there's like some like ways that it's done that's kind of cemented that people just keep doing over and over again. But there is always enough space for great tracks. So like even if you sound like a track from 30 years ago, if it's good, it's good, and we enjoy it. I'm not going to diss it just because it's not the newest and most amazing thing in the world. And then let's see what Luminous Clouds has to say. Electro sounds very futuristic. Listen to Carebot's compilation. Yeah, big up to Andy, Bass Agenda, the Carebot's compilations he's done to raise money for good causes. I was on the first one. Absolutely. That's a really great place to look, especially like he's really good at like bringing together a diverse selection of artists, not necessarily all big artist names, but like bringing in new people and mixing things up. And definitely, I should have him back on the show again. I haven't talked to Andy in a little while. Cool. So yeah, let's leave it there. Nice conversation. Nice little kind of talking point about this post from Stingray, and divisive apparently. Cool. Now, for what are we doing? Where's my thing? Here's my thing. All right, so this is what I was talking about. Let's go onto the main screen here. And yeah, I just started sketching a little bit with this idea that I was going to, make some simple or, do some simple subtractive synthesis, but then kind of turn it into something more with the process of just, effects and giving it a different kind of a vibe. So yeah. All right, I was going to just start playing things one at a time, but do you want to just hear the sketch kind of as it is to begin with? What do you think? I started with the drums. Yeah, let's just start listening to it and see what happens. All right, this is kind of the first thing that I did. Right, both that kick and the snare are synthesized with analog and then with added effects to make them kind of more live. I got one little kind of synthetic timpani sample mixed in there too. Definitely going for the kind of noisy, slightly industrial sound with that snare. The next stage was adding percussion. Actually, no, the next stage was adding, this is another thing that kind of characterizes this groove, is it's combining the analog synthesis and the samples with granular audio processing, and you all know that I love my fragments. So I ended up using the same preset on multiple sounds and tweaked the preset a little bit, and I just really liked how it tied it all together, because it has all this glitchiness, but since each sound it's reacting differently, even though it's a similar process on each sound, because the sound going in is different and things are randomly happening at different times. It kind of really, well, here, you hear for yourself and let me tell me what you think. Adding the little rolls, little 16-note glitchy rolls every now and then. I'll put the one on the snare drum and makes it really obvious. It's like adding in another layer on top of that. I'm already dancing, which is a good sign. Occasional random faster glitch in there. When I use distinctive presets like that, sometimes I get nervous that it's going to be obvious that it's a preset, but then I remember most people don't know that, and every situation is different because the preset audio effect is going to react differently depending on what you put into it. So anyway, who cares? Don't be afraid of presets is what I just said. In not so many words. Okay, next layer of percussion is just adding some one-shot samples and trying to giving it a little bit more of an organic, breaky kind of feel, I think is where it's going. Another thing that's going on is let me turn off all the glitchy stuff for a second because it's pretty crazy, or at least on that snare. All right, I've got a lot of distortion going on to hype things up, but also I do this every now and then where I'll have I'll put convolution reverb or some kind of space on my drums to give it fullness, but not to totally wash it out. And sometimes it can kind of make things get, phasey or something. But in this case, it seems to be working. Like if you hear it without everything, without all the distortion on those drums, dry. Okay, I like it. Let me put this on it. Now it's in a small room. And then, I don't know, do I distort after the reverb or before the reverb? I put it after. It's just going to make it noisier. Or brighter. Got that roar, doing some multi-band kind of hyping up of it. And I thought that sounds pretty good. Okay. More, the same preset on these percussion sounds these are more clean and acoustic, except for that big reverb on that one sound. That makes it sound like a crash. I'm happy with that. You know, the idea, I'm probably going to do this. Sometimes the glitching will be on, sometimes it will go away. I'm also going to go in and play with when it happens and, you know, refine it as the arrangement comes together. All right. I made this weird, well, actually I started with this, just trying to make kind of a hi-hat. Simple noise, white filtered high pass noise, right? A little bit of roll going on there. Actually, I've had the granular effect on this so long, I forgot what it sounded like. Let's hear what that sounds like with the beat just as it is. Yeah, I like the roll. Yeah, so what I was saying a little bit earlier about trying to make some electro that it's obviously electro, but it's also a little bit breaky and a little bit organic. Right? And, you know, that's what I'm trying to do is ride that line. Put the granular effects on again. Just adding kind of random atmosphere. The comb filtered kind of feedback effect that comes in and out, I like. Sometimes it has that sound that's a little bit like an acid note that pops in, which is a nice random thing to do every now and then. DJ Emo, is that, he's saying electro breaks if I'm not mistaken. Well, yeah, I did say up front a little bit breaky, right? But I still wanted to be electro. And I think it's getting breakier and breakier now that I'm adding in all this other percussion stuff. But then when I do this, that's very electro now, right? Bringing it back into the darkness. I'm feeling that. Okay, DJ Emo. Those are fighting words. Some might call it big beat. Are y'all familiar? Yeah, you know what that's like. Chemical Brothers, or in the old days, the Prodigy, Crystal Method, etc., right? Like the heavy breaks and the acid and everything. I don't know. I know what you're saying. I think there's like aesthetically, I think what I'm doing is a little bit different than what you're talking about. I'm not sampling break beats. There's no like actual live funk drums being cut up. There's no 303. There's no big snare drum buildups. It's not ravey, right? So I'm gonna say you're not totally wrong, but I would never myself call this big beat. But if you want to call it that, that's up to you all. Gotta do my Anthony Roth there. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna bring that synth out again. And I've got, what else is going on? I've got, all right, I'm on the fence about this sound. So I was like, what can I do that's a little more kind of techno, right? And I found this sample just sort of randomly going through one shots. And it's a synthesized percussion loop. And I did a little quick volume automation on it. And I like the idea of this, but, you know, we'll see. So it was a little bit of a cheat. I didn't design that sound. I could try to do like I could FM something together that's similar to that, but you know, it is what it is. So that's a maybe. All right. And then just some other percussion here. Like I got a kind of lighter stick kind of on the 2 and 4. I feel like that could be brighter. Something like that. So I still have the backbeat, and when I felt like that loud, distorted, more clappy, snarey thing is metallic one is a bit much sometimes. So that way I can dial it down, but they'll still keep the backbeat in there with something tight. I got a hi-hat to add in here, another one. Just that classic Kraftwerky hi-hat that everybody uses. But, it's a synthetic hi-hat, but it's a little acoustic sounding. Oh, that definitely needs to be EQ'd. Cleaner now. So yeah, once I add all of those layers of little percussion sounds, it gets way more acoustic breaky kind of thing. So I definitely have got to play with the contrast of the very syncopated breaky kind of feel and the more stripped down heavy electro kind of feel. And that's going to be fun to do when I'm arranging. Cool. Let's see. Jen Kalinowski thinks the snare can be quieter. Yeah, well, related to what I was just saying. So this one, right? It is really heavy. And, harking back to our earlier conversation about Stingray, I've noticed a lot of his kind of fast, industrially noisy kind of electro funk that he makes has very loud snare drums, right? It's kind of that smacking you in the head. But you're right, like level-wise, it does take up a lot of space. That's a little easier if I bring it back a couple of dB. And I was also playing around with the idea of not using, I have distortion on this. I just randomly threw this native instrument dirt on, which I forget about, but actually sounds pretty good. And more kind of, it sounds more like a clap like that, right? And that's cleaner. So, maybe we do like a, ow. Does this thing have a dry wet? Has a blend from A to B. Yeah. How do you get this? All right, I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, I see. Yeah, look, A is it's two distortions. It's been so long since I've used this. Two distortions, drive. So we're just listening to this. And this is dry. Okay. It's just too quiet. All right, that's not going to give me what I want because I can't level balance them the way I want. So we do the easy way of group, create chain, and do our parallel. Get that transient pop in and then fill it in with the distorted version. I can turn it down a little bit. And I'm probably going to want to compress that and EQ that as well. I haven't even done that yet. So, yeah. All right, getting stuck on that. Where are we? All right. Let's see, with all this stuff going on, the bass lines still work. It's very busy. I don't mind it. All right, I'm gonna take out some of this stuff. Break it down a little bit. I feel like most of the track should be like this, not too busy. And I also want to control the sound, modulate, automate the bass a little bit. I've created this rack here. It's two analogs. It's the same sound panned left and right to make it unnecessarily wide. But I want to be able to maybe adjust the filter of everything. So let's macro it up a little bit. Gonna do... How did I do this? All right, actually, I'm gonna unnecessary, but all right, let's do map to macro 1, map to macro 2. All right, I don't know why I'm doing it like this. Map to macro 1, map to macro 2. I'm doing this because I have the left and there's 2 oscillators in each analog that have the filters different, and then that's duplicated, and this one's left and this one's right, and then there's some other differences. I like being able to control those separately. Interesting when there's less sub. It kind of sounds good, it's tight, you hear the kick drum more. And that's fatter. I also like it when it's down and less bright. All right, that's better. Just to have that easy control for the arranging. Guess I'm kind of setting myself up for what I'm going to do with it. All right. So that's all of the sounds that I have so far, except there's a couple more. And I always do this to myself. I'll get some jam going, and then I'll make it sleepy and spacey and ambient by putting these big cinematic pads on it because I love them so much. So I pulled out we were playing around with Absinthe a little bit the last couple of shows. And I found a pad preset and then used the mutator to kind of make it different, just to mess it up a little bit, and came up with this. And now it's it's space music now. So I like to do that. There's that kind of heavy, funky jam, but then also it's cold space. Far, far out, and I love that contrast. And then I pulled out a Pigments preset, which I need to maybe modify a little bit. To do the big kind of Blade Runner thing, Vangelis. Bringing up the filter on the bass, easy move, right? I got a variation on the bass melody, which I'm not sure about. All right, there's that metallic loop I'm not sure about coming in. Maybe I think it just needs to happen once and then go away and not loop. Just kind of like an effect that comes in every now and then. I think I already have an arrangement for this. I'm doing it. Just playing around with the scenes. A little too long there. See, that sounds like not energetic enough. It needs something bigger needs to happen there. Maybe that needs to be more distorted again. I don't know. All right, I'm feeling where this is going. What do y'all think? I should be recording this right now. I would have the track done already. Just recording everything I'm doing into the arrangement view. And I'm thinking as ever about what's missing, what needs to change. This is too busy. Too many things happening at once. I gotta watch that. I could end the track like this. All right, we're done. Thanks. Goodbye. See ya. Just kidding. I'm still here. That was fun. Just playing around, showing you. I'm not done yet. I'm just saying where we're at right now. Like trying to get my head around these parts, you know, going through, showing you what I did, kind of deciding which are working, which aren't. Definitely, I got to watch it with the number of layers of all that percussion. It's kind of a bit much sometimes. I can clear some of that up with mixing, and then, you know, inevitably what I'm thinking, well, not inevitably what might happen is, you know, I go through and arrange it like that, and then I'll go through and remove stuff and be more surgical about what things are coming in and out, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's read about what y'all are talking about. You've been talking about some hardware stuff and the new Roland drum machine. What's this? Did any of you actually get that new? What is it? The 1000? The new Roland, like mega analog digital does everything drum machine. It looks amazing, but I hear that it has timing issues. Is that still a thing? And thank you, Jean-Paul. I'm glad you like the switch on the bass. Definitely that's happening. One of the things I was thinking of it, like I might add I don't really have a lead. I have the bass is the lead, right? So I might add another higher synth on top of that. To either follow it or contrast it. We'll see. That's something I need to think about. Hidden Material says need to reverse the snare reverb to bring that in. No, yeah, stuff like that, the ear candy, the little fills and things like that. I'm gonna when I get into the arrangement view and lay it all out. I'll lay out the major kind of main structure first, and I might do it. You know, I should do it just the way I did it in front of you, just like going between the scenes, and then making like longer sections, and then I'll go back in and zoom in and do the fills and the reverses and the tricks. That'll be the next pass, right? So yes, I agree. I like things like reverse, etc. Tremolator on the pad. Okay, so like making the pad so it's more rhythmic. I think according to T Error, I think that's a cool idea. Which one though? There's two. There's this one. You know? Do you mean this one, or do you mean the like Blade Runner sounding one? Do we even have Tremolator? I do, because I forgot I have all these. It's so trancey that way. But I get it. Like making it something rhythmic like that could be cool. Although if I keep with my... Shut up. Sorry. Stop. If I keep with my using the fragments, granular effects on everything, it has some choppy, tremolo-y, rhythmic things that it could do, and it could just... Maybe it's too much texture, too much noise, but let's see. Nah. Too glitchy, right? But I like the idea of it being unstable a little bit. All right, I'm not against the idea of chopping up the pads. I'm not sure if you meant this one or the other one, but it's the idea, right? See you later, Kriok. Enjoy your day. DJ Emo saying there's a lot here, probably some arrangements required. Now, that's exactly where my mind is, for sure. And Stereo Decor is saying, can you please try to process your kick with that convolution thing? Only say above 150, 200 hertz, not the full kick frequency. So do you think the low end is like too wide? Are you worried about the stereo? So let's see. Yeah, because I mean, it's not just the kick. It's like all these drums here. Actually, not all of them. These drums. So, one thing I could do, and this isn't mixed fully, right? I'm doing kind of sound design mixing, right? Like just making it, give it this vibe that I want. But yeah, I could like, if I do that, it's the reverb, all the low end and the reverb's getting cut out. So, but I'm gonna check that in the big studio with the midfield monitors. That's like super accurate. We have downstairs here in our big space. We've got our studio that I'm very proud of. That is really, it's like the nicest studio I've ever had regular access to. That's for sure. But yeah, definitely paying attention to that. And also I have this already, right? With the, I just have all the low frequency summed to mono, right? So most of the width you're hearing is mids and highs already. And then you've got the low end is mono. It still has reverb on it, but it's mono. And when I check it, when I listen to the mix, the whole mix in mono, it doesn't collapse. So I'm not too concerned about phase problems yet, but we'll see. It might get that way. So, all right. That's a good comment. Good thing, though. And yes, multi-band to address later, DJ Emo. Excellent. A few more minutes to go. I've got to wrap. I know we started a little bit late, but I've got to wrap things up pretty tight today to get on with the rest of my day and my family obligations. So I don't know where that accent came from. Let's just listen to it one more time and, just we'll play it out. So where are we at? What happens if we just start with this? Oh, what if happens if we start with not having everything soloed? Could be a nice intro. This sounds like kind of raspy. I wonder, I might EQ it a little bit. All right, drums. Letting it flow right now. I'm gonna hear how things go. Could bring that glitch in and out. Automating that would work. And this guy can't even hear it. The clap is so loud. Oh, that one I forgot about. That little kind of video game sounding, old school video game sounding thing. That needs some spice. That was another thing I was thinking about. Like, I like the character of the sample a lot. Where is it? Yeah, but maybe like a little modulation or like make it sound a little more synthy. I'm curious, what would it sound like with some sample rate reduction or I don't know, unnecessary sound design on this sample, perhaps. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Something like that. Just make it sound a little more digital and something. All right, we'll see. That's really annoying. If I keep doing that for like an hour, you'll love it. Yeah, I like the little digital grittiness happening from the Redux. And maybe just a little bit of... I was saying in the beginning, the whole idea of this was starting with simple sounds or samples and then using effects to give it the vibe and the character. And same thing, I'm doing it with this sample. The sample already has a good vibe, but now I'm adding a little bit of extra. Let's do, where's the shifter? Shifter. Type shifter into the browser and find it. Shifter. Hello? There it is. Let's put this, put it back here. Super wide. Whoa, just like a little bit off and it's like messing up the rhythm. Is there that much of a delay in this thing? Really? All right, I can't do that. Like it's totally throwing it off. Actually, how can I make this work? What if we do it like this? I'm going to group it. I'm going to high pass after it. Oh no, maybe before it. Let's see. Yeah, I want to like make this like cleaned up. I like what it's doing to the stereo, but I don't like the changing the timing of the sound. So let's just like multi-band this. And that's better, right? Now I got the crispy, bright, metallic stereo going on top. Okay, and then that nice fill with the bass. It's kind of answering the bass, like it's filling in that pocket. I like that. I'm going to go through some more granular presets on the pads and see what happens. This sounds great. Simple. What? That's not simple. That's noisy. What? Anything I can do to make it sound more alien is fine with me. I should just resample that and get it in key. Oh my god, okay. Overload, time to wrap it up. That was fun. Nice start to the new season, to the 2026 Selway's Techno Electro Saturdays series. Glad to have you all back, and thanks to any new viewers and people in the chat. Welcome, stick around, come back again. Goals for the year, right? And this was goals for last year too, is to like finish a new release or two. I have a bunch of tracks that are like so close, and I've been taking my time. I have not been in any hurry in cranking tracks out. There's just like thousands of tracks coming out constantly, and I'm like, what does the world need another electro release right now? But I'm doing it when I feel like I'm ready to do it, and living my life. So no apologies there. But yes, I'm gonna get some stuff done. That's a goal. And then yeah, getting some new guests. I've been kind of mostly bringing back the same guests, people like Christian Smith and Angel Alanis and things like that. We did have Alavux on. That was great. And did any of you catch his thing on the Native Instruments Discord server? He was making electro with Machine, and I got to catch a little bit of that in between work things. Always great to have him in the chat, and it was great to have him as a guest for the first time. Another artist that I like there in the electro techno kind of acidy, dark, ravey world. I like what he does. And yeah, I definitely want to get some more people on. I mentioned this, and if you're new and you're not in the Discord, check join, because that's where any kind of feedback sessions, when they happen, they're going to be, we'll be more of those this year, and we'll see about remix challenges, right? We'll see if anything comes up. But speaking of remix challenges, we did the Auto Freak one last year, and that was amazing. You guys did so much great work, and we picked 4 to put out on Tronic, and now I mentioned this in the Discord, which is what reminded me that Angel Alanis, he did a mix as well, and he's got I have another mix from some friends of mine, and Second Story, and Jon, who did, he's also known as Cynthia Stern, and then they did a remix together ages ago, which I've always wanted to do something with. And then there's a couple more remixes that Angel and his partner Maria really, really liked. And so they are going to do another Auto Freak remix release this sometime in the next couple of months. So I'm psyched on. And so, hopefully we'll do something else like that this year. So thanks again. And yeah, we'll be back probably next week. I'm going to try to. I keep saying this. I'm going to try to come back every week more often, right? More regularly, not take too many breaks. So everyone enjoy the rest of their weekend. Thanks very much. And I'll see you next time. Adios.
You